Hello again from Systema. Today we're going to work on our perception of obstacles. We're going to be using a wall and a simple tool to increase our awareness to different points in the body and thus make way to a new perception or a new benefit that obstacles give us. If something is headed my way, I could try to move out of its way, or I could try to block it, or I could just see it as something else and see what I can do with that. What I'm going to do now is see how I can spread myself in the body using this little obstacle in order for myself to gain better awareness of self and better movement. I start by placing a fist on the wall, which I'm not going to move, and with the other hand or with a partner that you trust, I'm going to just push and pull on the fist and move according to it. So if I am hooking from one point, I need to move. If I am pushing or cleaving from another position, I need to move the other way. Obviously, I'm not going to try to block it on my body and so on, but it's still always a possibility depending on how dire things are. Now, I've done that with the fist on one side, obviously also with the other side. Now I'm going to extend. How do I do that? First I was on 1 point, now I'm extending to 2 points. 1 and 2. And hooking. Hooking in the other side, like so. There are different moves that are applicable, and then I'm extending even further, creating a better understanding of self within me. So I'm using here. It's a good place to catch people if you want to bring them to you, or if you want to move them and turn them, and then the other way, here. And you can also extend fully to the body. From here, extend, or catch perhaps a leg behind the knees, pretty good. Of course, if the situation calls for that. Now, I've done that with one side, with the other side, and that is with 1 point, which is the fist, a round fist on the wall. Now let's extend that to a line. It's from a point to a line of the forearm. So I place my forearm on here, and I hook from below, and I move with it. The reason that I don't keep the axe on the wall is because I want it to stay. It's a real axe. Then I do it in the other opposite direction, and as you can see, the forearm itself can also move as long as it stays on the wall. So from here it moves, my entire body moves, and I learn also to work with this. Next, again, I go from 1 point to another, hooking, turning. I have to move it away from here or from here. And this is a good point to mention that as something comes my way, I don't necessarily want to engage it in the same direction. One direction, exact opposite, block. Or one direction, relax, other direction, because most movements are not very solid, and if you want to go this way, one finger will move it out of the way without much strength, because the awareness or density in the movement is again one-sided. This way, a block that will be met by a continuation of movement, but from here, this movement will be quite different. So again here, if I am hooking this point, I don't have to start moving this point. If I move somewhere else, which is a bit hard to see, or maybe from here, see, this starts to move first, which I can take and use to my advantage. So where you are touched is not necessarily where you want to start moving. If my leg is hooked below the knee, I may move this, but the rest of my body stays. So I'm just extending myself, helping myself get into a worse position. Instead, when I'm hooked, I just relax my other hip and it is lost. Now, as I extend from here to here, again, catching the back of the shoulder, moving, and hopefully not breaking the wall, and vice versa. This sort of movement is very simple. You use any tool, it doesn't have to be this sort of axe. You can use a simple needle. Most of the time that will be enough motivation for you to break a certain mold and to allow yourself to adapt to the situation instead of trying to make the situation work for you. This is just a tool that the real job that is happening is within yourself. And that's also when you're working with a partner. Never try to change someone, just try to be a better you. Thank you from Systema.